Thank you so much for downloading today's episode of the Red Pill Investor. My name's John Ashley, a pseudonym of a realtor here in the great state of Arizona, here to help you with your real estate sales skills. Why? Well, it's just sort of my way to pay it forward for all the people who've given me the tips, the tricks, the things to say to get the contract signed when I needed it the most. Their only request of me, well, simply pay it forward, and this is my opportunity to you. Thank you so much for downloading today's episode number 465, where we're going to be talking about wholesaling while licensed. Wholesaling while you're licensed. Now, the reason why we're going to talk about this today is because a letter came to me from a listener named Eugene in Washington State. Now, he wrote, "My name is Eugene. I came across your YouTube channel and I enjoyed it very much. I had a couple questions in regards to wholesaling while being a licensed realtor. I've been trying to find the answer out, but my searches keep falling short. I was wondering if you knew the answers. I recently started wholesaling in Washington State. I simply began sending out direct mails to homeowners. I got a system down and had a routine. And this all changed when I decided to get my real estate license. Now that I'm licensed, I'm held to a higher standard of disclosure and honesty, which I don't mind. The brokerage firm that I hung my license with didn't mind. However, they didn't want the brokerage name to be displayed on my marketing materials, my direct mails. They suggested that I do a DBA and simply place my DBA title on the direct mails. I read somewhere that I need to disclose what brokerage I work for on all my marketing materials. Will starting a DBA or an LLC resolve this issue? Also, if you're a licensed realtor, do you need to use an MLS contract? I've searched through all the web articles I could find and read through many forums to find any relevant information about this specific issue. I noticed that you're an established wholesaler and broker, so I thought I'd take a shot and ask for some advice. Thanks for your time, Eugene." Well, I got to tell you, that is a powerful email. Caught my attention, and it caught my attention so much that I wanted to share the answer with you, because I know many of you are also wholesalers. You know, this is really meant to be a comprehensive examination of wholesaling as an agent. Now, some of the terminology that I'm going to use may not necessarily make sense if you aren't an agent, but I'll do my best to try and make it some fun for you. So it seems that there are quite a few challenges that Eugene's going to face as a new realtor. And maybe you felt that way, unsure of what you're supposed to do. And one of the characteristics of a superstar, in my opinion, at least a superstar in the making, is intuition. You may not know if what you're thinking is right, but you know that one way or the other may be wrong. So today, let's break down this letter and answer Eugene's questions. So if you've got a piece of paper and a pen, then I want you to go ahead and say amen, and let's grab it and get started with the first problem. Will a DBA or an LLC solve the disclosure issue? Well, it's a mixed question. In short, the answer is no. Currently, there's 1,130,211 active realtors in the United States. And the difference is that if you're a realtor, remember, not all agents are realtors, well, then you've agreed to abide by the code of ethics. So certainly you want to check with your attorney. But to my knowledge, Washington's, at least the state anyway, disclosure laws, again, check the show notes for a free PDF and a video that I found, are pretty liberal. They allow you to operate from an assumed name or your company's name. However, it can't be deceptive, especially online. So the rules, as I understand it for Washington State, from what your broker's telling you, is probably pretty correct. You can advertise using an assumed name. Again, check with your broker and your attorney as to what type is best. And whether you do business as a individual or as an LLC or go all the way through an incorporation, is really a personal decision for tax reasons generally. I personally have my license in a PLLC, which is a professional limited liability corporation, because I'm licensed in Arizona. That's the way you have to have it. For tax reasons anyway, that's the way I have it. Check with your tax attorney or your CPA as to how you can maximize your tax advantages by incorporation, because that's usually why you do it. However, you do want to be clear-cut at all times about the fact that you're a realtor if you are one. Why? Because our code of ethics supersedes state laws in terms of requirements. As a realtor, you hold yourself to a higher standard. The National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics, even Article 12 itself, said that realtors shall be honest and truthful in real estate communications and shall present a true picture in their advertising, their marketing, and their representations. Realtors shall ensure that their status as real estate professionals is readily apparent. And when you think about that, there's just no hiding the fact that you're a realtor. Now, maybe it's not necessarily with your company name front and center, but you certainly need to, if you're a realtor, you need to demonstrate the fact that you're a realtor. And for the disclosure question, understand that the best practice is to disclose the fact that you're a realtor. See, in my belief, that in the end works to your benefit. See, no matter where you live in the United States, in my opinion, if you're an investing realtor, you should really make a lot of noise about that. Let people know that you're a realtor. Check with your state and find out what the state laws are. But honestly, it's my belief that you letting people know that you're a realtor is not a bad thing. No, by no means. Being an investing realtor is so powerful, especially in a competitive situation. I mean, use it. Think about it. They hate having to pay a commission. They don't like it when you're a listing agent. They'll tolerate paying you a commission if you're a selling agent, if you bring a buyer by. But as an agent who is an investor, whoo, buddy, let me tell you, they love an agent who invests. Trust me on this one. Now, let's move on to question number 2. Do I need to use an MLS contract? Going back to the issue of should you use a state contract, which is really, I think, what you mean, I believe 2 articles speak on this. Article 9 of the Code of Ethics says, realtors for the protection of all the parties, okay? Everybody, the buyer, the seller, you, the assigner, everybody, right? They shall ensure that whenever possible, all agreements are in writing in clear and understandable language. And, after everybody, gets, signatures or initials, they get copies, right? So that's Article 9. So we know from a contract perspective, we need to give them some legible standard contracts, stuff that's going to work. And then it says, Article 11 says that we agree to conform to standards of practice and competence, which are, quote, reasonably expected, right? In the specific real estate discipline that you engage in. So let's say that you're a residential resale agent, or let's say that you're an investing agent, and you're going to say, well, gosh, I'm an investor, right? Well, where and what kind of contracts are they using? I mean, this raises this ugly reasonable man specter. In a court of law, that's what they judge you against, is what would the reasonable man do? What would the reasonable agent do? What would 99% of all the reasonable agents in a residential resale or residential resale investment property, when they handle them by agents today, how do they handle them? With 3-page contracts, or do they handle them with state contracts? The question is pretty impressive. But you have to ask yourself, why would you want to use a state contract? Well, in my mind, I personally use a state contract. Why? Because it has an arbitration clause in it. You see, when a seller signs a state contract with an arbitration clause in it, lots of fun things happen. I mean, think about it. All of a sudden, you can sell it to other agents, like I did, right? For example, in the world's first periscoped live wholesale deal, which by the way, you can get a free download of that PDF. Visit the show notes, right? You'll definitely want to get that. It's a actual video presentation of me with the seller, then me with the buyer, and then me selling it to the buyer, and then me opening escrow. You can get the whole video, see the whole thing. Not only other agents like I did, but to the other agents' clients. I mean, think about it. When you use a state contract, you automatically increase your buyer list by adding agents and their clients. Best of all, if the seller even breathes that they don't want to close, well, then you automatically have an attorney file for anticipatory breach, bringing them instantly into that arbitration. And buddy, let me tell you something. Arbitration costs money. People, let me tell you something. Know your contract. The person who knows the contract the best wins. Point number 3. Some additional weapons. Additional weapons for you as a wholesaling investing realtor. See, when you're wholesaling as an investing realtor, remember that there are 2 other weapons that you have in your arsenal. First is the need to disclose the fair market value as best as you can to determine it, right? Again, the Code of Ethics compels us to give them a true picture of the value. Okay, this is easy because we aren't telling them something that they don't already know many times. All right? Besides, you can be brutally honest. Try it sometimes. It's liberating, right? If you're a listing agent, imagine not having to just overlook things and, oh, I didn't smell that, right? Listen, you're going to pay what you're going to pay no matter what the comps say. My price is my price regardless of what you owe. The second weapon is your status of disclosure as your principal to the transaction. Whoo, man, let me tell you, this is super powerful. Let me tell you why. This is the core foundational principle of the Red Pill sales system. Article 4 of the Code of Ethics states that if you're a realtor and you're acting as a principal, you must disclose that fact. See, this is awesome. Why? Because if you think about it, you have to let them know. Mr. Seller, in the state of Arizona wants me to let you know that I'm acting on my own behalf and not for you. And anything that you say can and will be used against you in negotiations. You understand those rights I've just explained to you? Now they're going to laugh. You say it with a smile. They're going to get a laugh, right? Let their confidence be their undoing. They're not better than you. You just got to let them know. Listen, for a free sample of my resale disclosure that you can model yours after, then feel free to go ahead and check those show links. So check it out. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you, Jean from Washington State, for her question. You know, we've learned a lot about wholesaling as an agent because of it. So be sure to download your free links, your PDFs, and be sure to join me at Carl K. Realtor on Twitter to see live Periscope presentations with actual sellers, with actual buyers, live interviews. I mean, things that you will just never see anywhere else. Live training where you need it. Have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.